So it's the 4th of July in the year 2000, the new millennium, and we want to learn all about crabbing right here at the bay near the Atlantic Ocean. And we're going to hear all the details about what you do to get crabs.
Well, the first thing you do is put the bait in the crab trap. You throw the crab trap out in the water, and then you wait a little while and hope that some crabs come in to get the bait. Then you pull the string, pull the crab trap out, and if you have a crab, you put him in the basket, and you have your live crab ready to take into the kitchen to cook him up.
So that's how the professionals do it, huh?
That's the way the professionals do it.
It sounds too easy.
It's that's the easy part. The hard part is to clean the meat out of the crab shells after you cook the crab. That takes a whole evening of cleaning and taking the crab meat out of the shells. But when you're done, if you have about 15 to 18 crabs, you end up with about a pound of pure crab meat.
Wow. It sounds pretty good. Shall we go out and take a look?
Okay, we'll go out and see what we have in the crab traps.
Whoa.
Three. After you catch them, you want to keep them cool, so we wet some kind of a cloth and put it over the top. Then we put a board over the top of that to keep the sun from evaporating the water, and that keeps them cool. And they'll last about a day that way. But every now and then, about maybe twice or 3 times during the day, you should wet them down and keep them cool. If you don't keep them cool, they'll die. These are the commercial baskets, commercial crabbing baskets. You put the bait in here, and then
There's a little guy.
he can go back in again. Anything that goes through these holes you don't want.
They're not worth cleaning, those holes.
And the bait falls to the bottom, and then the crabs go in the bottom through this hole. They go in there and hunt the bait, and then they don't know, they can't find their way out again because this thing has little fingers out so that they can't find their way out again. And they have 4 different holes they can come in.
What kind of bait do you use?
You can use chicken, fish, are the 2 best. Any kind of fish and chicken.
How long does this season last?
Usually from the end of May or the beginning of June, early part of June, up until we stop crabbing when we take the dock out in September, but they say you can crab up until October, even occasionally if it stays warm up till November.
So these are the hard shell crabs, right?
That is the hard shell, the New Jersey blue claw hard shell. And they molt, I think, 3 or 4 times a year. That means they shed their hard shell and develop a new soft shell. And here we go.
Whoa! That's a crab shell.
Yeah, some are pretty good sizes now. See, I have fish in there. That's a fish in there, and then when we run out of fish, we chicken. They like chicken almost as good as fish. And you put them up here in the top, then they can't eat your bait. If you let them down the bottom, they can get your bait. You put them up here, which is a dirty trick, and they can't eat your bait. If you let it in the bottom, they'll eat your bait all day long. Just gonna get the bigger ones out. Keep the bigger ones. And that one there only has one claw. You see it? They
see.
get fighting, and then he lost his claw over on this side. Crabs are one of the few things that grow new claws. They'll grow new ones.
Pulling on to another crab's claw there.
Yeah, well, that's how they lose their arm. They can release them. A crab can release his arm if he feels in danger.
There you go. See, let go of it.
There you go. The next operation is after you catch the crabs, you bring them in the kitchen. You dump them in the pot. After you put the Jersey blue claws in the pot, you cook them for 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, the crabs are an orange, bright orange color. And now they're ready for cleaning. Legs come out together, and she divides them into two parts. And the body comes out in one part, and I take the outside feelers off, and then I take the body apart, and you take what you call the lungs. You take the lungs off, and what you have left is the body ready to be cleaned, get all the white meat. And the time-consuming part is to get all the white meat out of these little cells.
I break them at the joint and keep them all, and I take all, put them in the cracker, and just crack them like that. And I do that to all of them, and then I sit down and get the meat out. This stuff cracks them.
How many years have you been?
44 years.
44 years. That's really 88 years.
Yeah.
That's what we just figured out with our 44 years. Gary was 6 years old.
You have to be careful when you take the meat out that you don't get any shell in. And we're down here ourselves. We do this every night.
It's like a part of your summer.
Being at the shore.
Yeah.
Okay, I clean the legs, and I like to do all one kind at once. I do all the flat ones, and then I do all the other shape. And you just take the little nut picker is what it is, and after I crack them, I take the nut picker, and I just go inside the leg and get all the meat out. And if I get a little piece of shell on my finger or the nut picker, I have the water here. I just dip it in the water, and the shell goes in the water, and that way I don't get any shell in my bowl of crab meat. And I just take one after the other and pick the crab meat out. And it's not hard, it's just a little time consuming, but we enjoy it. We enjoy the crab meat, so we pick out a lot of crabs in the summer. That's the one kind, and then, oops, that one came out already. And that one did too. Here's one that has meat. There's quite a bit of meat in the other round kind. So you just scrape that. There's a bone in the middle. You scrape the meat off the one side, turn it the other side. Now here's a little bit of shell. So I pick that up, put it in the water. Now the shell's in the water, and it won't go in my bowl. And I take the other side and scrape that off. And there's a little thin bone in the middle there. You don't want that. Just scrape the meat off of both sides, and then you go to another one. Get it off that end, and then this end has a little thin bone again. Take it out of one side and turn it over. And scrape it out of the other side, right along that thin bone. Get it all. In there, you have to dig around a little bit sometimes.
Okay, this is the cleaning of the bodies. After we catch them, we bring them in, we cook them for 30 minutes, we rough clean them. Now this is the last thing you do before you freeze the meat. You take the body, split it in half, and you have the white meat exposed, and you take the picker and clean the white meat out of the cells, And now these crabs we're catching is a little early in the season, so they're not too good size. Later in the season you get larger crabs, and they're easier to clean. The larger crabs are easier to clean than the small crabs. But we like to start early and start cleaning the crabs early, because sometimes crabs, if you get a violent storm, the crabs will go out in the deep water and you don't catch them the rest of the season. So when you start out in the season, you usually try to get as many as you can in case you get a storm that will drive them out, and then you won't get any later in the season. White meat comes out fairly easy if it's cooked for at least 30 minutes. If you cook it for less than 30 minutes, the crab meat doesn't come out of the body very easily. So we like to cook it well so the crab meat comes out well and easy.
So is this your own technique, or did you learn this from somebody else?
You pass it down from one generation to the next. We learned it from her father, mother, and you more or less learn it from one generation to the next generation. And the crab meat is very tasty, and like I said, from 15 to 18 crabs will give you a pound of solid crab meat. So down here, crab meat's going from $18 to $20 a pound, so it's valuable meat when you clean it out. Plus, we enjoy cleaning it just as a pastime to keep you busy in the evenings.
So between the two of you, that's 88 years of experience.
Yeah, between the two of us, 88 years, that's a fair amount of experience.
True.
Almost a century. So I can see the sign now, cleaning crabs for 100 years.
Yes.
Yeah.